Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This month's video is going to be the spring book tag that was created by Rhonda. I will tag her in the description. I have all of the questions listed out on my iPad, so let's run through them. And if you stick around to the end, there is also going to be a little publisher mail unboxing because I received a really exciting parcel this morning and I want to open it with you guys. I don't know what's in there, so it's going to be as much a surprise for me as it is for you. So let's jump straight into the video. So the first prompt is April Showers, and it's a book that made you emotional. This one was so easy for me because I have just read it, Unbound. I sobbed through this. The contents of this book are quite heavy, and just the storyline, it was so beautifully written. It was beautifully heartbreaking, is how I described it in my review. It just made me cry so many times. My heart broke for these characters, but they then piece it back together at the end. It has a beautiful, beautiful ending. But yeah, this book made me so emotional. I felt all of the feels, and I would highly, highly recommend to anyone that wants to read this that you read the entire series, because I really think that reading the previous two books first made this so much deeper because you've already met the characters and you know a little bit about them. So this is definitely my answer for prompt one. But I also want to add, Mistakes Were Made by Lucy Score. This book had me sobbing for different reasons because I really related to the female main character in this. She's going through some things throughout the book which kind of mirrored a little bit of my own life. Not completely, but enough that I related to her and resonated with her and the story. So this one also made me very, very emotional. Prompt two is Spring Blooms, a book with beautiful writing or storytelling that felt like it blossomed as you read. So I have two answers for this one. The first one would be True North by Corinna Gaskell, which just, I don't know how she does it, but the way she writes is like poetry. The way that she describes the Philippines where the book is set is just beautiful, and it's a very, very short novella. I think it's about 90 pages, but those 90 pages felt like a full length book. It really conveyed all of the female friendships and the love and everything, and it just honestly felt like a warm summer's day or like a comfy blanket. I can't describe it any better than that. It was just so cozy and beautiful, and I just think that this answers the prompt so perfectly because it genuinely was such a beautifully written book. And then honourable mention to Story of My Life by Lucy Score, because this as well just gave me all of the cozy vibes. I don't know what it was about it, but I absolutely adored this book. I read it so quickly, which is unheard of for me. And yeah, I feel like this deserves a little honourable mention. So, prompt number three is A Fresh Start, a book featuring a new beginning. So, I have just finished my arc of One Last Rodeo. It was incredible. You follow Sawyer, who is a bull rider, and he has an injury, so he has to go back home to his small town. And then you have the girl that broke his heart 9 years ago. And the whole way that this story is set up, she's moved back to town. He's in town because he's got an injury, and circumstances push them together. And you kind of flip between them 9 years in the past and them now. And it's just such a beautiful story. It was a lovely conclusion to the Willow Ridge series. If you've not read the Willow Ridge series by Emma Lucy, you absolutely need to. I absolutely adored every single one of the books, and this one was just such a beautiful story. I think it was my favourite. And again, I could have used this for prompt number one. It did make me cry, but in the best way possible. It was, again, just so beautifully heartbreaking, and the story between the two of them was just so pure, and I loved it. The next prompt is Sunshine Read, a book that made you happy while reading it. And that could be none other than my comfort reads, When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. These two books have my entire heart. I love these books so much. I am considering rereading them now that I'm looking at them. I haven't read them in a couple of years, but these are my absolute comfort books. I don't know if they were just what I needed at the time that I read them, but these two books are so special to me and I absolutely adore them. I just think they're so pretty as well. All of the tabs and the covers and everything about them, I absolutely adore. So definitely these two books. Prompt five is New Life, a new to you author that you discovered recently and loved. That has to be Peyton Corinne. I had never read her books before, and I binged all three of them when I got my arc of Unbound. I absolutely adore her writing. I don't know what it is about them, but I think it's because, yes, they're hockey romances, yes, they're college romances, but they have such a deeper level to them, and everyone is going through something, and they're just so beautifully written that I am going to continue reading all of her books. I cannot wait to read Undone. all of the times that we've met the characters throughout the series has me so, so excited for it. So I'll definitely be reading more of her books. Prompt 6 is Spring Cleaning, a book you want to unhaul, DNF, or wish you hadn't bought. This one I had to think about because I don't tend to DNF books unless they're really awful. I will just suck it up and kind of read through it. But this one I think has to be Magnolia Parks for two reasons. One, the author is very problematic, so I don't really want to be promoting her and supporting her. And secondly, I spent so much money to get the original covers, the massive books, and I got them off of Amazon, I got them off of Waterstones. I never pay full price for a book. I will always wait until it's in the works or get it on Kindle unless it's a special edition. Those books, I decided I wanted the original covers. I knew they were going to go out of print, so I paid so much money to get them, and now I don't even want to pick them up. So I don't know what I'm going to do about them. I'm not sure if I am going to sell them or if I'm just going to read them and just not promote them on any social media and not talk about them. I'm not sure, but yeah, the Magnolia Park series, which is really sad because I did actually love the covers and that's why I bought them. So that is prompt 6. The next prompt is After the Rain, a book that started slow but became amazing by the end. I really had to think about this. I think there are two that stood out to me. One is Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. I found it a little bit slow at the beginning, but I really loved it by the end. I think I gave it 5 stars, or if I didn't, it was at least 4.5. I really, really enjoyed it. And the other one is The Right Move, which people might disagree with me on. I just found this a little slow at the beginning. I really didn't like Ryan. I thought he was just rude and obnoxious. Didn't really like him as a character. And then he started to do all of these little things for Indy, and I really loved him as a character at the end. I did give it 5 stars. But yeah, this one took a little bit for me to get into, especially because I had started reading this series with Caught Up and Play Along. So I kind of went book 3, 4, 5, and then back to 1 and 2. So I was comparing it to how much I loved Caught Up and Play Along, which were both instant 6 star reads for me. And this wasn't. This was still a 5 star read, but compared to the others, I thought this was a little bit slow to start with. And prompt 8 is Clearing Skies, a book where a character overcomes something difficult. And the book that I've picked for this, I think perfectly fits that. I finished an arc recently for Fall or Fly by Sophie Snow, and I just think that book embodies characters overcoming stuff. The main character, Estate, is a pilot who is 6 months out from surviving a plane crash. And she meets Nico, who is her dad's best friend. And years ago, he was in a car crash where his sister died. So they're both overcoming their own traumas. And the way that they kind of bond over these is just so beautiful. And it did make me cry reading it. I just think it's such a beautiful story, and it was just such a lovely love story as well. So I highly, highly recommend that one if you've not read any of Sophie's books before. Prompt 9 is Just a Bouquet, a book with an amazing cast of characters. This one, I could not pick just one. We have obviously my top 3 romance series, which is DC Stars, Vancouver Storm, and the Windy City series. I just think that those collection of characters are just incredible. I love how really involved everyone is with each other's books. You really see everyone multiple times. It's not just this couple is this book, this couple is this book. They really are so intertwined throughout the entire series, and I love that. Another one is the Sparrow Falls series by Catherine Cowles. For the same reason, they are all siblings or foster siblings or adoptive siblings, and I just think it makes such a beautiful series overall. And the last one is the First in the City series, which I absolutely loved. I don't hear anyone talking about this series, and it needs more hype because it is such a beautiful series. The romances are so gorgeous. That First Flight is one of my favourite books. I am considering rereading it this spring. I feel like it's a very spring book, and I just think everyone needs to go and read it. And the last prompt is Long Sunny Days, a book you couldn't put down and binge read quickly. Like I mentioned earlier, it's got to be Story of My Life. I read this, I think it's over 500 pages, and I read it in about 2 days, which is unheard of for me. I normally can read maximum like 80 pages in a day, and that's it if it's a paperback. And this I flew through. I absolutely loved it, could not put it down. The story was beautiful, the writing was great, it was just so cozy and just felt like a kind of amalgamation of Lucy's other books, which I love. So, really, really loved this one, would highly recommend. And the other book was The Housemaid, which I read in 2 days again. Absolutely loved it. I read it straight after watching the film, and I'd never read a thriller before. I'm very much a romance reader, so I wanted to give it a go. I borrowed it off of my sister, and I quite liked that I knew the plot already. So I was comparing the two as I read, so that I was like, oh, I saw that in the film. Oh, this is different to the film, and kind of comparing it through. And I absolutely loved it and could not put it down. So that is my other answer for prompt 10. And now for the moment I'm the most excited for. This is the giant parcel that Hodder sent us as a thank you for being part of their Lucy Score bookplate campaign. You would have seen me going and dropping them off in London if you watched my last video. I vlogged the whole experience, and this is the thank you we've got. So let's open it up and see what's inside, because I only know one of the books because they had to tell us not to post before a certain date because one of the books hasn't been announced yet. So the first two books are In Her Own League by Liz Tomfordy and Blood and Roses by Callie Hart. I think this is the author of Quicksilver, which I haven't read yet, but this will be really interesting to read. This one, I already have 2 copies. They've already sent me one before, so I might have to give this away to my sister and try and get her onto the Windy City series. And the last book in here is the one that I know what it is, and I'm so excited to see it. It is the new special edition of Story of My Life by Lucy Score. It's a hardback and it is absolutely beautiful. The end papers are so cute. This is going to be releasing on June 4th, and I absolutely adore this book. It was one of my favourites last year. It is one of my top 10 reads ever. I don't know what it was about this book, but I just flew through it. I absolutely loved it, and you probably would have heard me talking about it already because I know for a fact it's going to be the answer to one of the prompts. So how beautiful is this? It is just so gorgeous, and the foiling is just perfect. So thank you so, so much to the girls at Hodder for sending me these. I absolutely adore this. So we have some author mail, which I already know what this is because I ARC read this book for the author. She is an indie author, and this book is Hot Nights, Cold Shoulders by Corinna Gaskell, who I mentioned previously is the author of True North. And the writing, I just love the way that she describes the Philippines, the way that she always describes her settings, because the majority of them are set in the Philippines, is just so beautiful and you can really picture them. The descriptions are just so vivid, and she does a great job of bringing the worlds to life. So thank you so much, Corinna, for sending this my way. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing if you're not already, and I will see you all in next month's video.